And welcome, everybody. It's Dan. I do hope you're well today. Welcome to today's podcast show. Today, I want to talk about marketing, and I want to talk about three different aspects of marketing. I want to talk about email, I want to talk about content, and I want to talk about Facebook ads. If you do nothing else, you've got to have these three things in place in your marketing. If you do nothing else, these three, it's like a non-negotiable. They've absolutely got to be in place in order for your business to take off, stay in front of people, find new prospects, sell to potential prospects, sell to people who already know who you are, and introduce yourself to people who've got no idea who you are, but actually might be interested in your products and services. And it's a three-step approach. So it's content, it's ads, and it's email, those three things. So first up, Facebook ads or Google ads or LinkedIn ads or any kind of paid advertising really is there for reaching a segment of the market who do not know who you are. This allows you to extend reach. So when we talk about reach, let's say you've got 4,000 people on your friend's Facebook list. What that means is that only a small percentage of those people are actually going to see your message. Whereas if you pay Facebook, you can get that message out in front of thousands of people. And not only that, it's actually targeted towards very specific people. So if you're selling a product, for example, that's for men between 40 and 60, you can target that demographic in London or in Leeds or wherever that happens to be, people who are interested in politics or people interested in weight loss or whatever. You can get really specific on the targeting and you can reach more people who are interested in what it is that you've got to sell. Content can't do that, however. Content, you're just putting content out, and it's more like a scattergun approach where you're just chucking it all out and you're hoping somebody who happens to see it is ready to buy. I liken it to newspaper advertising. When you put an advert in a newspaper, you don't know who's going to read that. It might be a 4-year-old, it might be a 50-year-old, it might be a 30-year-old. It's completely, it's a massive chance about who's actually going to see that content and whether they're your target customer or not, which is why if you're putting content out on things like social media to an existing audience, they're an existing audience. You're still going to run into the fact that only so many people of that existing audience is going to see, because social media platforms are throttling how many times people are actually going to see your stuff until you pay. So the way that we do it in my business, we've got a lot of content going out. We've got millions of views on our YouTube channel, for example, and we keep on putting out content every single day. It takes a lot of time, it's a hassle, but it needs to be done because the content aspect of things, it first of all, what's the word? It reminds people that you're around. When you're constantly putting content out, they're like, gosh, there's that guy again. Oh, there he is again. There he is again. We know this because this is what people say to us. So you've got to constantly put that content out. With Facebook ads, you don't have to put content out. You just need some adverts. You set them up, off the go, but you've got to keep refreshing the adverts because the way that Facebook works these days, for example, is that you've got to have fresh content, fresh images, fresh videos, new marketing assets going out all the time. It's pretty in-depth stuff, which is why a lot of people come to us and we actually do it for them on their behalf. So you've got content, then you've got Facebook ads. And when you're running Facebook ads, you also want to be doing, usually it's like a two-step approach. And this is what we do. We offer people our Facebook ads guide, for example. They are basically then downloading the guide, they're sticking the hand up going, yeah, I'm interested in setting up Facebook ads. Now they've put their hand up and identified themselves as someone who's interested in running Facebook ads. So they've identified themselves as a potential customer of ours. The second thing that then happens is that we then serve a retargeting advert specifically to those people who've engaged or clicked like or made a comment or downloaded the guide, because they've identified themselves as someone who wants Facebook ads, and then we send them an advert about let us do your Facebook ads. And we call that a two-prong approach. So for example, we've got a masterclass coming up Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It's an hour each night, and it's really designed to get people moving, get people back, building confidence. So they actually take a lot of action because the killer of dreams is no action. The killer of dreams is lack of confidence, lack of self-belief. And that's what that's specifically for. Is there an upsell at the end of that? Of course there is. There's a 30-day coaching program, which is awesome, by the way. I must admit, I was looking through it last night and I'm like, God, this rocks. And people are going to get a lot of change work, a lot of difference in their lives from this 30-day coaching program. But That's a two-step approach again. So we get people into a webinar, they're immersed in our environment, the way that we see the world and we think about things, and then they get to listen to what we say, which is great, okay, because we think a certain thing a certain way. We need to introduce people to that and explain why it's a good idea to do things in a certain way instead of the way that they've always been doing them. And then the second prong approach is when I make the offer on day 3, and they're either going to sign up or they're not, and that's fine. But then now they're in our email list, then we can send them out stuff about marketing and content and more webinars and another breakthrough session and so on and so on. So that two-prong approach for us works really well. And this will work well in your business as well. So one of the problems I see is that business owners, they go, oh, no, I don't want any of that. No. I just want leads. That's all I want. I just want buying leads. I don't want to have to sift. Literally, we've had these conversations. I don't want to have to phone people up and 1 out of 10 buy. No. Everybody has to be a sale. And it's like, I don't know what planet you're on, but that's not the way it works here on planet Earth. It might do on planet Loopy, but it doesn't work anywhere else except in your mind. You have to go through a set process for the transaction. It is just the way it is. And if you improve on this process, you're going to make more transactions. And the transactional process is you got to, first of all, show people who you are, demonstrate what you can do, demonstrate your expertise, show before and afters, show people what the house looked like before the conservatory. Now it's all been attached and put up. This is what it now looks like, and this is the person and how they feel and how they now live their life where before they were limited. You see, it's a transformation. If you think about this, what are people buying? People are buying transformations all the time. You want a conservatory on your house as a transformation. It's a physical transformation, but it's also a transformation mentally, because the way that you live inside that conservatory, and it's an extension of your house, and that becomes part of your home, the way that makes you feel, and all these things that you can now do, like having family dinners in it or whatever it happens to be. If it's weight loss, again, it's transformation. If it's a boiler, it's transformation. I'm cold, now I'm hot. It's still a transformation. And when you think about selling transformations, what is it that people need? They need confidence, that you know what you're doing, that you're capable. They need to know that it's got a warranty of some kind, that if there's a problem further on down the line, so like you should be demonstrating this, you should be talking about this. Obviously, they want to know what the price is and if there's any payment methods. All of this stuff will lead people to a purchase. But without any of that stuff, I need a boiler, it's £2,000. Like, what boiler is it? What's the warranty? How often does it need servicing? How quickly can you install it? How long will we be freezing cold for? Like, all that information needs to be given before you're going to make a sale. How many times do plumbers do any of that? They don't do any of it. They just go, oh, no, it's £2,000, mate, £2,500, whatever it is, right? And you think about British Gas and the way that they sell boilers. Yeah, it's a boiler, a very expensive one. You can probably get half price from your local plumber. But what do? Think about this. They go on about the warranty, about why this is the right boiler, all the years' experience. They go on about all these other things that you can't touch because it's like they don't exist. Explaining to someone about the warranty, you can't see a warranty. You can see the boiler, but you can't see the warranty. You can't see the quality of the installation until it's done, until it's a mess. But you have to demonstrate what this is going to be like. And you do that using content. You do that using ads. You do that using email. And let's talk about email finally before we leave. So you've got content going out. Brilliant. Now you've got Facebook ads going out. Brilliant. Facebook ads, they download something, they stick in a hand up going, yeah, send me that document or a price list or whatever it's going to be, the transformational product, whatever that is. Now you've got an email from them. You need to be warming people up, and warming people up does not mean sell. It means that you've got to be warming people up. Exactly what we said before. This is the price. This is the warranty. Think about the quality of workmanship. We've been in business 20 years. Mrs. Smith said this about our install. Mr. Brown said this about our workers. All that stuff could be given out to potential buyers. And this is where you're going to start closing more potential customers through this trifold, I've made that word up, but this three-way pattern of making more sales. Anyway, I hope you find that useful. We'll catch up with you on the next one. My name's Dan Latter. Have a wicked day. Take care.